We appreciate you joining us on the award-winning Behind the Mask podcast. We got a special guest today, Justin Gatlin, 5-time Olympic medalist. Make sure you subscribe to the Behind the Mask podcast. Click that little bell for notifications so you can see the upcoming episodes. And remember, on the Behind the Mask podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules.
Let's go behind the mask.
Welcome back to another edition of the Behind the Mask podcast show. I am your host, Takeo Spikes, joined alongside by my co-host, better known as
your favorite plus size model, International 2 in the building.
International 2 don't know how to speak another language, but I'll take it.
Je m'appelle Tutan. Oui. Bonbons, all that good stuff.
All right, then I'll shut up. Nah, bro, but listen, man, without further ado, we got to bring our next guest on, man. But I want to give a little teaser a little bit. Listen, this man is a 5-time Olympic medalist, a world champion, one of the best sprinters of our modern era. Man, y'all give it up. All this dude is run. When I think about running fast, my hamstrings hurt. Give it up for my guy, Justin Gatlin. What's up, bro?
What's up, Spike? Hey, what's going on? What's going on, fellas?
Man, chilling in the A. You know, we finally caught up with you. We had to wait until you slowed down to get tired.
I'm in fall training right now, so it's a little slow motion right now. So this is perfect timing.
All love, bro. All love, man. So how you been holding up through this pandemic, man?
Man, you know, at first, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, man, it's easy. We can get through it, you know. And then I ain't gonna lie, that depression set in a little bit, man. You know, not be able to get out, see loved ones, you know, see family, but also it messed up our whole season. You know, we kept pushing meets back and back, and I'm international, so I gotta fly overseas to really be able to sustain, you know, a living the right way. So all that was shut down. So this past season, 2020, has been pretty much in the can for me, man. But now I'm getting ready for 2021, getting ready for the Olympic campaign, man.
I feel you. That Olympic campaign, and we all been waiting on it. It's coming up soon, a little bit postponed. But I want to go back to your first Olympic gold medal at the age of 22. Man, take us back to that experience, bro. Like, what was that like for you being able to experience that and also bring home the hardware?
Man, Spikes, it was like a fast track to your dream. That's like saying, like, if you went straight one season in NCAA football and went straight into the NFL, and then your first year in the NFL, you make it to the Super Bowl, and then from there, you know, you win the Super Bowl championship. It was a dream come true. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of discipline put into it. So standing at that starting line, man, it was like I arrived.
In lane 3, representing the USA, Justin Gatlin.
All the hard work started to pay off, and I just kind of relaxed and just let my thing just happen, man. And just ran for my life, competed for my life, and came across the line with the victory.
And on their way in the 100-meter final. And Sean Crawford and Justin Gatlin are there. Here comes Powell. Oh, McQuaid was there too in the middle of the track. But it's going to be Justin Gatlin to win the gold medal.
Nice. And then at 34, you were the oldest to win an Olympic medal in a non-relay event. So how do you still find the motivation now, even after 34? You're 38 now, right?
Yeah, I'm 38, man.
So how do you find the motivations to still compete at such a high level when you're going against the 22-year-olds that want to beat a Justin Gatlin?
Man, you know, I take the great words from the late Aaliyah, man. Age ain't nothing but a number, man. You know, like, seriously, like, I train with younger people. Like, the youngest person in our group just turned 20. So they were 19. So I'm training with people who, when I won my first Olympic medal, you know, they weren't even in school yet, not even in kindergarten, you know. So now I'm training with them, and I've been on Olympic teams with people. When I met them, they were in 7th grade. Now we are Olympic teammates. So it blows my mind when I realize that I have really stood the test of time and I'm really out there competing with these younger people, and I'm still doing it because I love it, man. I love it.
Bro, like you talk about, it's the longevity. I played 15 years, retired at 36, but you still doing your thing, bro, in the upper 30s. So that's big shout out, commend you for being able to do that and hold up to that level. But I got to ask you one of the fan questions, because this is something that everybody wants to know, especially when it comes to you had some epic battles with Usain Bolt. You know, y'all got the best of each other a few times, but from the starting blocks to the finish line, like, give me some type of imagery. Like, what was it like, bro? Like, what was that mentality getting into the blocks? Of course, you know you felt like you was going to win, but paint a picture for me.
All right, so I'm going to take you back a little bit. I'm usually known to be a guy who can come on late, you know what I mean, and overstride. I was called a long strider for a long time. So, like, everyone would see my legs coming before they see my body. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here it come. He's inching up. Now you flip that, and now you're going against somebody who's 6'5", I'm 6'1", and he has that same capabilities. So literally I had to compartmentalize a whole section of my training that would cater to competing and combating against someone like Usain. Anybody else in the world, I can get away with certain mistakes and still have the victory. But with him, I had to adjust my training program just to be able to stay stride for stride with a guy like that, or even just battle him. You know, where a lot of guys have fallen off, they never even was able to touch him after 50 meters. I was the guy who was able to stay with him for 50 meters and had to run him to the finish line. But getting in the blocks, man, it's just a lot of energy. And, you know, when you shoulder to shoulder with somebody where the fans are going crazy for, you just know, okay, gun goes off and everything just goes instinctual. Like, you just out the blocks, running for your life, working on your stride. And then maybe 20 meters before the finish line, that's the gut check. That's when you know you're going stride for stride and you got to dive for the finish line, and y'all looking at each other, gritting your teeth and bearing like, ah.
So y'all really do be looking at each other like, ah.
Oh, 100%. It was in 2015 was considered my best year. I was killing everybody, breaking every record, going to every stadium around the world, smashing every record, right? And when we got to the World Championships, you know, he knew he was lunch. He was like, "Damn, I'm not ready for this." You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I was running 9.7s like it was just a factory come off the assembly line, and he wasn't ready for that. And then when the gun went off, instead of like competing, I wanted to race. So I was like, back in the day, you know, you was foot racing down the street. That's where my mind went to, because I figured I had it already lock, stock, and barrel. And then he edged me out of the finish line, and then he looked back at me, and this is the look he gave me. He looked like, dude, that should have been your race. That should have been your race. And ever since then, I understood that it was seizing the moment. Don't worry about what people say you got, or if it's going to be an easy win for you. You still got to fight for it.
And then you turn around and you actually beat Bolt in his last world championship. And usually the crowd cheers for you. You had some up and downs in your career, but this particular time they booed. You went on and you saluted Bolt. You hushed the crowd. But was that victory bittersweet for you? Or, you know, were you just happy to get the victory? Like you said, you knew you were going to win.
You know, the funny thing is, I always thought, like, man, I wish I could do it over. And I wish, you know, it wasn't so many boos.
The result that's come up on screens, then Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American.
But I appreciate the way it happened, because it showed my fortitude. It showed that once I got to the starting line, I knew who I was as a person. I knew what I was there to do. So no matter how many boos there were and how loud the boos there were, I'll still come there to get the job done. And that's what I did. So at the end of the day, usually people will be like, oh, I beat Usain Bolt, I'm going to run around, go crazy. Boo, boo, all that kind of crazy stuff. But for me, it was like, I had to pay respect and homage to him, because he was the only cat in my whole career that made me really self-reflect and say, damn, okay, I have to evolve. I have to step my game up to be able to combat against somebody. So, you know, it wasn't that I wanted to necessarily beat him in his last race to like stick it to him. It was, he knew, man, the best man win. It always been like that. So when we step on the line, you got to bring your A game. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, but on that day I won.
Bruh, and it's quite amazing, dog. Like, to be able to have this opportunity, not only to sit down with you, but to see you still putting in that work. I think about last year running a 9.89. You know what I mean? So, and shit, to me, it looks like you ain't slowing up no time soon. But when you look back early in your career, or just even in the middle part, what would the record books have read if you had not missed any time on the track due to some of the suspensions?
Man, you know, it was a lot. It was years and years of my life where I thought about that, like what could have happened if I stayed. And I don't know, man. It could have went bad. I could have met Usain at a younger part of my career, and he could have wiped me off the map for all I know. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't be ready for him. He just came out of nowhere, basically. But I was able to sit back and watch him from afar, and I was able to build myself up to be able to compete against a monster like that. So I really don't know, but I know that whatever my cards were dealt to me, I was going to play the best hand possible. And, you know, I'm very pleased about where my career is, because not only am I praised for my speed, but I'm also respected for my fortitude. And I really want to leave my sport with people thinking, okay, man, you know, it's not about a race all the time. Sometimes it's about a fight.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because, you know, as youngsters, we have guys who we look up to. I remember looking up at Walter Payton, even though I played on the defensive side of the ball. But I had guys who I looked up to, who I really wanted to model my game after. When we say the name John Carlos, what's one of the things that comes out to you in your mind that when you hear his name called?
Hero. The one and only thing, hero. Because we're put, and I can't speak for other sports like the NFL and NBA or Major League Baseball or anything else, but as American athletes who represent the United States of America, we're put in a weird situation where we have to carry that pride of the United States across seas and battle against, you know, other countries. And when we stand on top of that podium and we put our hand over our heart and we say the anthem, you know, you're smiling because you did it for your country. You did it for the people who really believed in you. Now, on the flip side, you know, you looking at it like, man, with all this dysfunction that we have, you know, in our country, in our division, it's like, how do you not go into a competitive mode, you know, and how do you able to keep the pride over top of the division in your heart, you know, because you want to go out there and do it for your people. But you got to remember, your people aren't all Black people. Your people are all Americans. And that's how we've always been taught that way. So it's a weird situation.
And you had, I'm pretty sure, some either role models or people that you did look up to coming up as a young athlete. Who are some of the sprinters that you took admiration to? You modeled your game after, saying, you know what, I want to be like this person when I grow up.
Oh, man, I was a student of the game. Everybody, even females. I looked at them. I watched them. I mean, I still got a VHS cassette tape. I don't even know where I'm going to play it at, but I got it, right? And it has all the world records in modern era. It has most of the fastest races, from a Michael Johnson, from a Flo Jo, from a Maurice Green to a Carl Lewis, you know. So you have all these people who have done great things in the sport. And I was like, I don't want to just be just a sprinter. I want to be a total package sprinter. So I watched everybody. And in my room in high school and in my dorm room in college, it was, you know, usually, you know, us dudes who have pictures of girls in bikinis or whatever, Victoria's Secret models, it was track athletes. And that's all I thought about all day long. I was thinking about form, technique, effort, everything, and trying to emulate that.
Bro, like, that's pretty cool, because most times people forget, they can't really hone in and have that type of focus. And that's something, I call it the law of attraction. You write down your goals, you put it on your wall. Was that something that you did every year, or was it something that you measured from every 4 years, just as if the Olympics were coming up?
Every year, Spike. I would not only put a list of my goals, I'll make a hit list. When I came back into the game, I made a hit list. I put down all the names of the people that either doubted me, and then I started putting down names of people who I thought could be a competitive threat, and I just made a list. And I just make a hash mark every time I beat them. I'll go overseas somewhere and be gone for 2 weeks. I'll write down a notebook, and I'll come back, and I'll put it up on the dry eraser board. Boom, boom, boom. So at the end of the season, I see how many times I beat them, and that's how I calculated my worth. So when I stepped back to the table, I had a number and said, I beat this guy 10 times. You know what I mean? He might beat me 2, but I beat him when it counted.
That's amazing, man. I don't think I ever wrote the hit list down in the locker room or anything like that, but I did have the posters up as well. As a kid, I don't know if you remember, but Ricky Henderson, he played for Athletics and he played for the Yankees. He was the stolen base champion for so many years. That was the person I had on my wall, and I love baseball, and I really thought that I would stay being fast when I was younger, but genetics, weight came on, so I stayed in football. Now I play offensive line, so it is what it is. But you talking about that speed, man. Obviously, you're one of the fastest to ever do it, top 5 in the world in terms of your time. If you ever had to build a 4x4 team with all the greats, could be male or female, who would you have on that team?
Man, out the hole, I'm gonna put Christian Coleman out the hole.
Final of the men's 4x100. USA is second from the right, all in blue in lane 8. And Christian Coleman has already caught China.
Me on the back stretch.
Here's Justin Gatlin, but he left a little early. Is the handover good? Yes, Gatlin goes to the lead. The United States leads over China and Great Britain.
I will put on the turn. I'll have to put Allison Felix.
Which is Allison Felix as well, though. They're in lane 7 and coming home straight. It's Allison Felix with the 2 Jamaicans.
And then on the home straight, man, have to put probably Carl Lewis. You know what I mean?
Lewis takes the baton. Lewis is going to win it going away. We'll keep our eye on the clock. Carl is on his way to gold medal number 4. Carl Lewis winning it by almost 15 meters.
When you think about relays, you think about what people bring to the table. It's been times because of politics in the relays that you got 3 starters. 3 starters and 1 finisher, and somehow the finisher is popping off the race. So you as sprinters and relay runners, we know that what we bring to the table, and we know what we fit at, and we never fight about it because we know what we bring.
Bro, you mentioned your U.S. teammate Christian Coleman, also a Tennessee Vol. What makes his future so bright? What are you looking forward to seeing him do coming up in years to come?
That dog. That's what it is, man. When you're an athlete and you see another athlete and you a dog, you recognize another dog. You get that dog in him, man. Like he quiet and he just want to get it done. He want to bang.
He's an excellent starter and accelerator. Last year he broke the 60-meter world indoor record twice. I've been around for quite some time. I've seen some of the best starters. He is certainly in the conversation for being the best starter ever.
You know what I mean? That's the crazy thing is because when I look at him, I got to look at him with a competitive mindset because before he even came into the professional realm, me and him talked a lot. I'll tell him what is to come because I'm already as a professional. So then when he got on the line, it's like, all right, man, I can't look at him as just like a friend or somebody I could talk to or somebody I give advice to. I got to look at him as my strongest or toughest competitor, So it's a weird situation, but his future is bright. Once he gets on the track, he's like a steamroller, man. He's coming.
Bro, and this is one more thing too. So when you see it, one of the things, the connotations that come with sprinters, regardless if female or mostly males that I see, it's the arrogance, it's the cockiness, it's the swagger. Bro, so like, is that a requirement? What is that? Is it mandated that you got to have it to let everybody know you got the sauce or what?
Well, first of all, we don't get the privilege of having 4 quarters. You do, or we don't get the privilege of having 2 halves. Like other sports, we get 9 seconds, my brother, 9 seconds to show off who we are and to be able to finish that race and show a little swag. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have like an intro. And then when you come across that line, you got to be able to celebrate the right way. Because you only get 9 seconds. That's it. You don't get no minute. You don't even get 10 seconds sometimes. It's 9 seconds, do or die.
Well, I truly thought it was gonna happen for you, bro, because I remember you had that tryout with the Houston Texans. Yeah. So how was that process being able to like take it from the track and then now being on the field?
You know, I never had this conversation with a professional football player ever before. So
shame on them. That's the reason why we asking now.
So, you know, the thing is that when I went into it, I really wanted to play defense because in high school I played safety, but everybody was like, man, you got the speed, you got to play wide receiver. So literally I had to learn a whole craft that I never even knew before. I had to learn the route tree. I had to learn getting in and out of breaks. I had to learn to do everything. You know what I mean? The first team I went to was the New Orleans Saints. They gave me a shot, just raw. I ain't know nothing. And I remember Sean Payton came out there and Sean was like, I'm going to coach you today. And it was just me and Sean on the field working drills, cone drills. And then he's like, I'm going to get the ball thrown to you. So I'm thinking it's going to be, third string, practice squad, whatever you want to call it, going to throw me the ball. Out of the complex walks Drew Brees himself. So I'm out there getting deep routes thrown to me by Drew Brees and Sean Payton on the sideline. You know what I mean? I feel like I just won a radio contest or something like that. You know what I mean? But, the crazy thing is, needs to say, I wish that if I went to the Saints last after I learned the craft of being a wide receiver, I think I would have had an opportunity to be on the team. But I also knew that going from, their Tampa Bay Buccaneers minicamp, the Texans, like you said, I respect what you guys do on a different level. And I didn't want to turn myself into a circus where I'm going bouncing around trying to get onto a team where you guys work so hard to even stay on the team. So I said, you know what? Let me go back to a sport where I once was a king and work for that again.
That's amazing, man. You know what's crazy? You talk about that respect that the track athletes have for the football players. Do you think some of these football players actually respect track athletes? Because a lot of the receivers, they say they can beat you guys in the race. I think got the cheetah. You know what I'm saying? I know T.O. been talking smack. Chad Johnson. These guys, they really think they can compete with you guys on the track, man.
Man, you know what? It's like you being born. You're an adult in the 1940s and you see a Ferrari pull up. That shit just blow your mind. It just blow your mind. And that's how our speed is. Our speed is on a different level. You know what I mean? In 2 steps, we already 2 shoulder lengths in front of you. So, I mean, I entertain the fact, you know what I mean? I bring on all challenges. And I love the race against football players. T.O. already know what time it is.
But I ain't ready just yet. But in due time, give me a few weeks, it's going down. Me, Justin Gatlin, he said he's giving me 10 steps. What hasn't been determined is if we're doing 100 meters or 100 yards.
We about to put something together for you guys, and it's going to be, eRace racism, and that's what the race is going to be called. So it's a play on words where we're going to have charities where we're going to go out and put up against races, and we got like a bracket. We got Marquise Goodwin who's going to join in. Your boy B Marsh, he's gonna come in. So we got a bunch of athletes that want to come. We got Allison Felix, Lolo Jones, who we're trying to get into it as well. So we're not discriminating against nobody. But at the same time, with this whole pandemic going on, what we want to do is we want to bring a togetherness and a safe environment, but also we want to show that sports is the bearer of peace. You know what I mean? And that's what it's always been. So we should be able to work together to be able to uplift not just sports, but society, because it needs a little help right now.
Yeah, I actually spoke with T.O. a few days ago, and he was, he had some of the same sentiments as you. But then I had to poke the bear a little bit. And he was like, Spikes, they think I'm playing. They don't think I can run no more. And I was like, T, I feel you. But this young man over here just ran this 9.8 about a year ago now, bro. So, dog, we definitely looking forward to that, man. So any insight you can give us, though, what leg will you be running, and who you looking forward to running up against?
Oh, man. I'm looking at all comers right now, Spike. You know what I mean? Whatever
dirty to him.
Yeah, whatever T brings to the table, because we want to mix it up. You know what I mean? We want to do the football players against track athletes, but I think it'd be a better viewer experience if it's a mixed relay where you have track athletes with football players all together on the same team versus another team that has the same kind of like mix. So we trying to bring it together. I'm trying to call up some of my boys, see what they're doing. What I want to do is I want to make sure we get them everybody ready, everybody healthy. I don't want nobody talking no trash and they can't back it up. So we gonna be ready.
Talking about they pulled the hamstring or something, right?
You know exactly how it is. Exactly. You will have enough time to get all them hamstrings all supple and ready to go because we about to bring it.
Oh man, no doubt, man. And you got I know you got a documentary in the works. Can you give us anything on that yet?
You know, my documentary is going to be a viewpoint from an artistic standpoint of my life and my career, everything I've been through, all my ups and downs and my peaks and valleys. But also it's to show the human side of me. You know, as athletes, you guys know on the football field is, you know, you almost feel like a robot sometimes. You know what I mean? And you have to be perfect. You know what I mean? In the view, in the fans' eyes, no matter what you do, if you miss a tackle, or if anything outside of sports, you have to be on the up and up. I just want to show everybody I never got a chance to speak my point of my whole career. And I want to have the opportunity to be able to show the world who I am as a person on and off the track.
Will you go back and be kind of be retroactive and share what you went through earlier in your career as well, leading up to this moment?
Everything. Everything going to be on the table. Everything, Spike. You know, my thing nowadays is if you're going to tell a story, you got to tell the whole story.
Yeah.
So the thing is, while I'm going to give you bits and pieces and I'm going to sugarcoat the story, I want to give it to you raw. I want you to know the nights that I couldn't sleep or the nights I cried myself to sleep. I want you to know everything. You know, I want you to know the times where, I was basically on food stamps and had to build my way back up into a sport. You know what I mean? To where, you know, now I'm living a dream that I can't even imagine. You know, so I went from something to nothing, now back to something.
It's heavy, man. And that story of perseverance, we love it. We talk about that all the time on the BTN podcast. We definitely appreciate you joining us, man. You mentioned before you were training for those 2020 Olympics. They were postponed due to COVID. And you say you're going to compete next year. What would it mean for Justin Gatlin to stand on that Olympic podium and be draped with another Olympic medal one more time?
Man, it'd be unfathomable. Like it would be, I can't even think of the emotions that I would have because, you know, from having so much success in my first Olympics in 2004 to be able to be on an Olympic team again in 2021, that's unheard of, man. Usually track athletes have a short cycle where, you know, they'll make one Olympic team and not make the next one or the one after that. And they pretty much are retired within 3 to 4 years. I've been blessed to be able to go this long. So to be able to be on top of that podium, man, you just have to watch and see because I'm going to be watching myself.
Well, we'll definitely be watching and seeing, man.
Yeah, sure.
And before we let you get out of here, I wanted to ask you one more question, though. So in the racism race to end racism, do you think that you guys may have any categories for big plus size models running down the track? Because Tutan is definitely ready to showcase his speed and his skills.
You know what? I think we have a spot for him, man. You know, it depends what you want. You want a little lead too? You know what I mean?
Nah.
You want to go head up?
Listen, I need one of those. I need one of those. I'm with you, yo. I need one of those curves because I understand. From what I understand, the second and fourth leg are the longest ones. That's where your horses run. I'm more like a little mammoth or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't need, you know what I mean?
You know what? At the end of the day, we can even switch it up for you though. You know what I'm saying? You can have a guy on the curve run a little longer and give you that glory. That glory leg is where you bring it home, where you hold the baton, come across the finish line. You know what I mean? That would be great for a plus size model like
man. He don't get caught.
Spice, you want to get out there? How about that? You go on whoever else team. I'm on Gat team, and
that's what I'm talking about. Then and give us the damn handoff at the same time.
At the same damn time.
All I know is in our world, don't get whooped, okay? Don't get that whoop. When that net gets short,
and that refrigerator is on your back.
Oh man, I'm with it though. I feel like at my age, knowing how my brother works out, he does his Peloton, he does his yoga, and I'm still in the gym running and stuff. You know what I mean? Doing sprints, treadmills. I think I got him now. You 10 years ago, Spice got me. Now, oh yeah. And I got Gat as my trainer. You're done.
Well, that's it then. I think we got a little competition right here that we need to bring onto the race.
Damn right. We gonna go behind the mask and we gonna go behind the track because I'm smoking everything. Gat, but listen, man, we appreciate the time. I need that training regimen because just like you getting ready for 2021 for the Olympics, I'm getting ready for 2021 running with the Bulls in Spain.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know what you got for me, dog. Give me some of that heat or something to put on them hamstrings because I ain't trying to be on that YouTube video being rewinded.
Hey, you're going to be don't be world star, brother.
I know it ain't.
Hey, tomorrow, that's first of all, running with the Bulls is on my bucket list. So I definitely want to do that when I retire, man. So hats off to you, man. That's a beautiful thing. But tomorrow, my workout going to be repeat 500s. I don't think